Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to War on the Sea, but we're going to be starting a brand new campaign tonight. So we have played through the campaign on the side of the Allies when the game originally came out, and we didn't play all the way through to victory, but we played through to a quasi-victory. And my understanding is the most recent patch actually updated the campaign, so if the enemy lost 100 ships, the campaign ends. And so in that sense, we definitely sank more than 100 Japanese ships, and we would have won had we been playing under the new rules. But I am going to go ahead and start a new campaign today, playing as the Japanese, and seeing if we can do a little bit better job. Now that we're not learning the game from scratch, we at least have hopefully some idea how to play. My hope is that we can do a little bit better and win the campaign outright. Now this is a new game out by Killerfish Games, the developers of Cold Waters and Atlantic Fleet. It's a real-time naval combat game with a dynamic campaign focused around the South Pacific, and specifically the Guadalcanal campaign. And so that's what we're going to be starting here today. We're going to be starting the new campaign. We're going to be playing the Battle of Guadalcanal, which is from the Japanese side. And it starts on August 7th of 1942 as Imperial Japan complete the construction of an airfield on Guadalcanal and ensure the Allies gain no foothold in the southern Solomon Islands. So let's go ahead and jump in. I also believe with some of the new patches, they've extended the range of long-range bombers depending on the loadout that you have. So I know that was something where it was kind of weird that like every loadout of your bombers had the same range, whether you had half loadout or full loadout, and I believe they changed that. Okay, so here's the Prelude. It's talking about Japan's invasion of China in the 1930s, the Allied or American embargo against the Japanese as a result of some of the occurrences in China, and then the Japanese decision to attack the American fleet at Pearl Harbor. The next card focuses on the Solomon Seas, where there is a naval battle in the South Pacific in the Coral Sea, the Battle of the Coral Sea, where the Japanese are turned back from invading Port Moresby, but they do sink an American fleet carrier while losing a light carrier. That being said, it does weaken the eventual Japanese striking force headed toward Midway. The Battle of Midway, where the Pacific theater turns pretty considerably. And yeah, so the Japanese lose 4 fleet carriers. They have 2 left, but they lose 4 of their 6 fleet carriers at the Battle of Midway, while inflicting only 1 carrier loss on the Allies. And that's where we find ourselves in August of 1942. The Japanese are attempting to build an airfield on Guadalcanal. That airfield will put the Japanese air umbrella far enough south to seriously endanger supplies heading into Australia, and the Allies obviously are going to try and stop that. Guadalcanal was the first counterattack by the Allied navies by landing American Marines on the island of Guadalcanal and beginning the campaign of driving the Japanese back. Okay, so you can see here campaign summary. A small landing force of our troops has already occupied Guadalcanal and Florida Islands. Preparation should be made to immediately begin construction of a large airfield on Guadalcanal. Once finished, long-range bombers will be free to attack Allied supply lines between America and Australia and provide air cover for the Imperial Japanese Navy to operate further south. Your orders are to build a major airfield on Guadalcanal and clear the neighboring islands of any hostile enemy force. You must build a rank 5 airfield on Guadalcanal while maintaining control on Melilla and the Florida Islands. So that's our objective. Cooktown, by the way, is a new base. One of the recent patches added the base at Cooktown for the Allies. So it's the first base in Australia that exists in the game. Okay. Go ahead and continue. You can see it's August 7th of 1942. Cooktown is a level 3 airfield or level 5 airfield with level 3 port, so they can refuel ships down here and they can fly B-17s north, which presumably will allow them to better cover Port Moresby. Okay. Moresby, meanwhile, is a level 3 airfield with level 4 port. Milne Bay is a 1-1. And then you have New Hebrides, which is a 5-5, the headquarters of their fleet down here in the southeast. The Japanese, meanwhile, that's us. Our main base is at Rabaul, a 5-5. We have Cape Gloucester, which is almost a 5 airfield, but no port. We have Cape Hoskins, which is the same. Kavang, which is a 3 Navy base and a 4 airfield. Borup is a 3 airfield. 2 Bougainville's 0. Shortlands 2 and 2. And Guadalcanal's a 0. And the Florida Islands are a 0. Well, it's good to see ya, Comfit. Hopefully this turns into a successful campaign. Okay. So the question is, what do we do first? We have 200 command points. They've rebalanced some of the naval units in one of the recent patches. So I believe we actually can't even, like, let's limit ourselves to Japanese shipping. I don't even think we have enough point. I mean, a carrier is 120 points. So we'd have to send one of them south, like, unescorted. Which means we basically are going to have to send surface vessels to engage the Americans. And I get a little bit nervous about fighting American ships, given their radar advantage. And I'm not very good with torpedoes. Guadalcanal currently has 2,000 supplies. They also did rebalance so that you only need 50 and 50 for 50 engineering, 50 fuel for the first airfield or port. I'm just trying to think of what the best strategy would be. Building up shortlands might not be a terrible idea. What do we have here? We have 200 engineering, 200 fuel, so we could move that forward and build a level 3 airfield here. Currently, we've got a level 2, which allows us to have Val dive bombers. What's their radius? Not very far. 262. Well, we could build a carrier task force and try and hit the enemy at sea. I'm kind of partial to that idea and trying to build up some command points. But if we build a carrier task force, it's going to be very Spartan. Not a cop, though. Thanks for the follow. All right, let's build a carrier task force around the Shokaku. And then we'll need some escorts. These are dual purpose guns, right? No? Do any of our destroyers have dual? Yeah, so the Akuzi. How expensive are they? 10? All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build a carrier task. Do not do aircraft carriers yet. Don't tell me what to do, Flying Scotsman. We're gonna do 3 destroyers in a circular formation with the carrier. 1, 3, and 4 for the destroyers, and 2 is the carrier. Don't tell me what to do, Flying Scotsman. We're gonna do a carrier, okay? All right, so we're going to build this task force. We're going to go ahead and send them. I don't want to put them in the slot. I want them to be north a little bit. And then that'll leave me with 50 command points left for a cargo task force to bring reinforcements in terms of troops. Although I think maybe we just do like a quick run-in of like destroyers to carrier troops. I mean, supplies are important. You want at least a 1-to-1 supply ratio, so I could bring 1,000 extra troops in and still maintain that ratio pretty quickly too, probably faster than any landing party they can bring. So if we do Minakaze class destroyers, think they each carry 250 soldiers, so we could do 4 of them. Where's the task force I'm building? Yeah, oops. All right. So we'll do this. Be nice if you could carry a little bit of supplies. Oh, you can. Is that new, or is that something that's always been there for the Japanese but not the Allies? Because when I was playing before as the Allies, the Americans could not carry supplies on destroyers. I don't know if that's new in a patch or if that's just a unique rule for the Japanese. I haven't played a lot of the Japanese. In that case, we probably should have another task force here, shouldn't we? Whatever. Let's bring these guys in 2 separate groups. We're gonna fast forward just a little bit to get these guys out away from port. Okay, I'll pause. Go ahead and do a new sea task force. We have 26 points left, so we can go ahead and do a few more Minakazes. Because these are just going to be our dirt cheap transport groups, and so we're at a 1-to-1 supply to troop ratio for the moment. So we're going to go ahead and bring 400 supply in on the first 2 ships, and then we'll bring 500 more troops on the second 2. And the goal is really to just make Guadalcanal difficult to take. So if the Allies land troops, like 6,000 troops or something like that, they can't just quickly overrun us. All right. So meanwhile, I don't have any aircraft down here at the southern islands to do like recon. So I'm going to go ahead and send some zeros up out of the Shortland Islands. Or out of Shortland. They have a range of 500 nautical miles. We only have 4 of them based out of the island. Also, apparently they changed the rules for aircraft now so that a base gets replenished, I think, once a day with aircraft. And if you lose aircraft in a day, then you don't get to respawn those. The casualties stick for a day, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know they did something like that. I think that patch is out. The problem is I don't really have aircraft that can reach out all that far. The Zeros have great range, but all my air bases are too far back. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You can see our air wings are flying out here, scouting down through the slot. Our naval task forces are also making progress. Enemy float planes detected over Guadalcanal, which probably means they've got cruisers in the area. Are you kidding? They've got cruisers there already? Did they spawn, like, there? How are they already there? Can I hit them with bombers out of the Shortlands? Why do I keep saying the Shortlands? Out of Shortland? Probably not. We can't quite get there. Not quite long enough range. We'll have to wait a little bit. Maybe they'll head north. Zero encounter. Ignore. I don't want to engage those guys. They are heading north. Oh shit, these guys took off? I didn't think I told them to do that. RTB. All right, I don't think we can make it, but we'll fly our dive bombers out there just in case. Farmer Philburn, thank you for the follow. Enemy float planes over here to the east. We didn't spot any enemy shipping coming back. Yeah, our bombers couldn't make it. How about my Nels out of Rabal or Betty's? They can fly 720 or 760 miles with torpedoes. Man, I should have gotten them up earlier. They can make it down here. I didn't realize they had extended the range on these guys quite that far. So we get 8 torpedo bombers up. Long range twin engine medium bombers carrying big ass torpedoes. All right, it's almost night actually. These guys are going to be arriving probably in the dark. Let's go ahead and get our zeros up. Do a little bit of recon perhaps. Send these guys down the slot. One of them we're going to send north because we did see what looked like float planes up here. Not sure where they came from. Where did their cruisers go? They just vanished. Or maybe we can't spot them at night. Where the hell did they go? All right, so it's the first night. The enemy cruisers just kind of vanished. Our destroyer task force is... Uh-oh. Okay, so we've got an encounter with our destroyers here. Apparently I put my destroyers in circle formation as well. Switch these guys into line. Torpedoes in the water, enemy submarine. You can see the torpedoes up over here. Turn into them, boys. Speed up. Not sure if they're going for the lead ship or not. Looks like they are. But I probably already avoided them based on that hard right turn right away. Maybe engaging an enemy destroyer with a spread of fish isn't the wisest thing. I do have depth charges on here. We're gonna have to slow down a bit. Slow down to 5 knots. I think we're safe from enemy torpedoes. Our sonar is already on. Wasn't even really close with these fish. No indication of where this enemy sub might be. Let's turn off the active and go to passive, see if we hear anything. There we go. Wait, nope, I clicked the wrong thing. All right, go ahead and attack her. Take your speed up to 8 knots, maybe. I'm hoping we still have a good hold on her. Looks like the passive sonar is doing its job. We'll go with dropping 5 depth charges for the attack. Okay, so we've already got an enemy sub in our sights. We're turning into her. No. Alright, so she looks like she's up near periscope depth still. Kind of surprised about that. We're like right behind the damn thing. It's making 7 knots. I'm making 15 on my attack run. Let's space the charges out by 7 or 10 seconds. Okay, we're coming right over the top. Oh wow, we're dropping early, huh? God damn it, AI. Hope you didn't drop them all already. You're still dropping more. I think we dropped just a little bit too early here. I think the pattern ended right before we were going to go right over the enemy sub, although I do think we did a little bit of damage on those last 2. It almost looks like her screws stopped. She's definitely losing buoyancy. She's heading down. So she's making 0 knots and she's down to 258 feet, 260 feet. She's heading down toward crush depth. I can't imagine that we killed her that easily. Almost all those torpedoes were behind. But we did hit her, I believe, near the screws on the 2 that might have hit. So if it knocked its propulsion out, it definitely could have lost buoyancy. Looks like it's coming back up now. Maybe surfacing, so we might get a chance to throw some shells into her, although we're going to be dropping depth charges now. You can see the pattern splashing into the water here. Waiting for the explosions. There we go. Just 1? That's all we get? Alright, she is heading... Or maybe that was the yardage that was way down, not the depth. I maybe have mistook the yardage and depth. So she's still dead in the water, but she is, you know, she's coming up. She's at 160 feet, according to the intel. 3rd destroyer's coming in. We'll have her depth charge also. We might damage each other. We're a little bit close in. I don't want to damage my own ships due to depth charges. But so far, no damage to anybody. Alright. Enemies coming up. It's at 16 feet. She's surfacing. Pause. So she must have been under some serious... Must have suffered some serious damage from those depth charges. So we're going to start the game off with an instant kill on enemy subs. She's not going to win versus 4 destroyers in a surface fight. No, she already is sinking. So we didn't even get to shoot her. slipping beneath the waves. Slowly. Okay. Well, we got an enemy. We got a kill right away. So an enemy submarine sunk, and that gives us 5 command points. So exactly what we needed to start doing. The one problem I've noticed is these Bettys have such long range that they fly, and it's like going to be light almost before they get back to base. Is that really the flight time on these things? But hey, we sank the enemy ship. That's what matters, right? The enemy sub. 4 destroyers coming down. Betty's returning to base. Task Force 1 is going to be in the vicinity, so we're going to get some scout planes up on these carriers at first light. See what we can see. Maybe get some carrier airstrikes if there's enemy shipping still in the area. I don't like the idea of sending destroyers down when we spotted enemy heavies, but at least that last flight of aircraft, we didn't... Okay, and the Bettys have landed. The last flight of aircraft before sunset didn't see anything. But Task Force 2 has another engagement. Perhaps another enemy sub, I guess we'll see. Could be the cruisers if they're still out here. In which case I'm going to turn tail and run. No sign of torpedoes. Are there any enemy ships about? Oh, fish over here. Right full rudder. Right full rudder eye. Presumably the enemy fish are not gonna hit me if I go hard right. Cut speed to 5 knots. Let's rely on our passive sonar. All right, these fish look like they're comfortably off to the left. I'm driving each one of these ships individually. Nice big enemy spread, but nowhere near where we're at. Let's go active with this lead ship, see if we ping anything off the enemy hull. Still no joy. How slow do I have to be going? These guys are going 2 knots. Thanks for the follow. Natty Science and Ball Jihad. Ball Jihad? I don't know. We're not picking anything up? They're too quiet? Well, you'd think the active would pick up if they're too quiet. Sometimes the active can actually prevent you from hearing the enemy. Let's speed up a little bit. Maybe they're below a layer or something. I mean, I've got different sets pointed in different directions. All right, everybody go active, I guess. Oh, I was still pinging with this guy. Maybe that was screwing everything up. Go quiet. I'm not. Everybody, be very, very quiet. We're hunting subbies. I swear he's like up here or something. I see like a shadow in the water, but I can't Can't detect anything. Is this rear ship pinging away? No. Okay, fine. Passive won't work, then all of you just start pinging the fuck out of the water. Or nothing. Or you can do nothing. Whatever. Enemy sub gets away. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience for ASW work. Okay, it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. It is. So let's get some air wings up. Shokaku's the only one that I have aircraft on. The rest are destroyers. We're going to send individual flights of zeros up. And see what we can see. Okay. I wish you could do longer range than that. I don't get why it's only 160 nautical miles. That's weird. You're just almost better off individually plotting your aircraft in that case. Not even close either. It's like their range is 500 nautical miles and you're giving me less than half that for my scouts? Really? All right, so we've got some aircraft up. Let's also get some off Shortland. I want to know what the rationale for that is. Like, yep, you only get a fraction of your combat radius. I think we're going to pick something up also. So let's go ahead and get some Bettys up. Get them flying out this way because they take forever to show up. Nothing? There were heavy cruisers in the slot yesterday. Oh, there we go. 2 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, 2 destroyers. 0, come hang out here. Alpha strike time, boys. Give me those Kates. 12 of them in a flight. Go get them. Bettys are also on the way. Yeah, there's no issue with taking damage in the game. Flying or shared dorsal, they once, I mean, you take damage, but if your aircraft takes damage, then you just, once you're out of the battle, you don't have to worry about like an aircraft crashing or anything like that. All right. Torpedo bombers are on the way. Plenty of range to get them in there. Flak's gonna do some work on them, but tis something I think we expect. We'll launch another flight of Kates. So we're gonna have all 24 of our torpedo bombers in here. We'll send the Vals in the event that well, here's the question. Do we wait and hit them with 24 all at once? Or do we hit them with one flight of 12 and then hit them with a second flight of 12? Because the lead group does have the range to loiter. I think we wait. Shit, they've spotted my destroyers. Gotta make sure we don't get them in range. Bettys are on the way. All right. Let's go ahead and jump in. Tactical battle now. Japanese torpedoes are much more reliable. All right, so we have 24 Kates, an entire flotilla's aircraft carrier worth of Kates. We've spotted the enemy task force. It's in line formation. Perfect. What do we have here? We've got destroyers in front. These boys look like they're already in range with their dual purpose guns. That's great. At least one of the destroyers has dual purpose. These dual mounts, those are not dual purpose. Then we've got 2 heavy cruisers. Are these Pensacola's? 3 and 3. So 3. So these are all 2 heavy cruisers with 9 8-inch guns. And then it looks like we've got a Cleveland and an Atlanta. Oh boy. So this is going to be a bad day for our aircraft. All right, so I kind of want to go for the Atlantas. They don't have many of them. So let's do this. The problem at this point is we're already in range of their anti-aircraft. So we're going to bring it down to 1,000 feet. Send the first group off a little bit. Second group off. Third group off. So we're going to try an anvil strike. Really against what I think will be the whole line. I think we'll go for the 3 rear ships, 4 on each side. Although the enemy aircraft ships do maneuver now. So we'll see how that affects our flights here. So we're going to dive and bank away a little bit. You can see we're in range of their 5-inchers, which are immediately opening fire. Mostly against the planes to the north by the looks of it. Got to get altitude. We got to bleed off some altitude first before we turn into attack. Good God. They're not terribly accurate so far, but that flak is everywhere. All right. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and turn in here. Group 9. 5, 1. All right, 8 torpedo bombers is going for each of the 3 rear cruisers. They're focusing all of their flak against the 12 torpedo bombers to the north, which means in theory the 12 torpedo bombers to the south will have an easier time of it. We've already bled off altitude, so we're banking in here from the north. They're still firing at us, but I don't see where the flak is anymore. Oh, nope, they've switched their flak to the nearer group on the other side here. We're in close. This lead group here on on the heavy cruiser is the one that they're shooting at. All 4 torpedoes on that lead group off. All 4 torpedoes on this group got off. We just saw 1 aircraft go down. What are we looking at here? And so they're switching their fire. These 4 fish look real good on this Atlanta. I'd also say the same about this Cleveland. I don't see the fish. Oh, they haven't dropped yet? Pensacola. All right, this group already dropped, right? So let's immediately get these guys at full speed. And turning away. We also lost the lead aircraft on the second formation here. Max speed. These guys are in the process of dropping. It looks like the fish are coming loose. Right now you can see they're no longer held to the ships or to the aircraft. So these boys are flying, are dropping. Paused mid-drop. All right. All right, so we just lost one aircraft in this group too. Get them out of here at full speed. These guys are coming in here. They've dropped also, so I can't call them off despite the fact that it looks like we've got good fish on the three rear ships. Their fish are already out, and I think we just lose a lot of aircraft if we try and have any of these other aircraft try and switch their target. So rather than try to... Oh, these guys already dropped. So we only have 4 aircraft who haven't even dropped yet. That is 3 torpedoes on this enemy Cleveland class by the looks of it. Dear God. This Atlanta just ate some fish. Some of them went under it? At least one of them did. Oh my God, look at this entire column. Torpedoes everywhere. This Cleveland is done. This Pensacola, I'm pretty sure, is done. Yeah. We sank one of the Atlantas. We sank one of the Clevelands and one of the heavies. So the entire rear formation of this enemy column is done. It didn't come without loss. We did lose 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of our 24 Kates. So it was a bloody day for the torpedo bombers. But a perfect, if I don't mind saying so, a perfectly executed anvil attack. Well, I don't know if they could have maneuvered, to be honest. Like, you've got enemy torpedoes coming on each flank. I have seen enemy ships maneuver against me when I was playing the Allied campaign. They did maneuver to avoid bombers and torpedo bombers, for what it's worth. New Orleans, not Pensacola's. Okay, I may be misspeaking. In any event. Bad day for the U.S. Navy, huh? The entire rear of their column just had its heart ripped out. So I think we'll send the Vals off at this task force now. The Vals should be able to deal with the enemy destroyers, I would think. Or my own destroyers that I've got coming in. I've got 4 destroyers coming in. But I do want to take out this enemy heavy cruiser before we try any kind of surface shenanigans. Especially since I've got troops on those destroyers. Yep. Man, those guys sank fast. The Cleveland already sank. She rolled over on her, or that's the Atlanta actually. Where's the Cleveland? She's still above water? No, I can't even see the Cleveland anymore. It's gone. This is the very beginning of a new campaign, Bottles. Renreb, thanks for the follow. El Tempo del Tormello, thank you for the follow. Guinness XK, thank you for the follow. All right. Good victory there. Aircraft on the way out, heading back to rearm. Bad day for the U.S. Navy. Yeah, one enemy sub sunk already. A heavy cruiser, 2 light cruisers, one of them being in Atlanta. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of War on the Sea, a new series with me playing as the Imperial Japanese, and things have gotten off to a great start with, dare I say, not to be egotistical, but that really felt like the perfect anvil attack on an enemy formation, although I do wonder why they weren't maneuvering. It seemed like they were maneuvering a lot toward the end of my Allied Let's Play, but I didn't really see any maneuvering there. I guess it could just be because they were in a line and we were coming from each side, I'm not sure, but in any event, a very successful anvil attack against an enemy cruiser task force to start, and I think that's a good place to leave off. So we'll pick this up next time in our next episode. We will figure out if we can finish off this enemy task force and what the future has in store for us. But until then, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.